Hey coin collectors and welcome to the DC Coin World International coin channel. Today it's the Washington $quarter coin from the United States from 1956. And as you can see, we have two really gem condition ones here. These came from a collector's collection that they let us borrow. And this one right here on the left is a Philadelphia one. This one here on the right is a Denver one. You can't tell this is a Philadelphia one until you turn it over, however. So let's move the Denver one out of the way. Let's talk about this one and talk about what was going on in 1956 with these coins. It says Liberty at the top, and you can see this is incredibly well defined. It says, "In God We Trust" under Washington's chin. Way down in here, if you look, you see a J and an F for John Flanagan, who was the engraver of these coins. First came out in 1932. And then down here you see a 1956. Some of you have heard about the double bar 5 from the 1956. The double bar 5 has a line. See the top of the 5 here? Let me see if I can get something a little bit finer to point with. I'm just going to use the end of this pen, like right in here. That space in the middle of the 5 will have a little bar in it. There's actually one on eBay right now for about $15, including shipping. Now, the double bar 5 is a very valuable coin if you can get it in a high grade. But if you're going to get it somewhere around very fine or below, you are talking about $15. So condition is huge. There's also another thing that goes on with the 1956, and let's turn it over and we see we got the reeds here. We turn it over and we get and see that it's the eagle on the back. It says United States of America on the top, E pluribus unum here. This is a incredibly well defined eagle for 1956. You notice it doesn't have great body feathers, but that's kind of how they came. You don't find these coins in a high grade very often, almost never. They found two at an MS-68. So Mint State 68, they found two. Those are estimated to be worth about $11,000. Mostly you're going to find them at MS-65 or below. If we go down here, we see the arrows held by the eagle, the little tail feathers coming down, and at the very bottom it says $quarter. So where is the error on this coin? The error on this coin is right here. And I'll show you. Between the E and the S in states, this is called a Type B reverse. This coin can be worth up to $275 if it's an MS-65. The problem with this one is we don't have great detail on the feathers, and we have these little kind of marks on here, these little black marks on here. It's a really, really nice coin. Maybe worth $40 or $50 though, because this is the Type B. What does the Type A look like? Let's see if we can find it on the Denver. So I'll show you. See on the Denver one here, see how the E and the S almost touch? That's the regular form for the 1956 coins. But I don't want to put them together. So see on this one, there's a space between the E and the S. On this one, there's not. So this is what they call the Type B or the proof reverse. These coins come in a proof sets. In fact, they made 669 proof sets. The proof set sold for $2.10, and now they're worth 65 cents. These coins also come in uncirculated mint sets. So the uncirculated mint sets from 1956, they made 45,475 of them. You get the uncirculated mint sets, you're doing very well. They sold for $3.34. Now they're worth about $360. Now, one of the other things I want to talk about is these are, of course, 90% silver. So you're talking about a $5 minimum value, but then when you get them in this great shape, let me show you where the D is, right there. Let's focus on that. So the D's there, and on the Philadelphia coin, there is nothing. So that's Philly. This is Denver. At Denver, they made 33.3 million. At Philly, they made 44.8 million. And lastly, I want to talk about a coin that left circulation in 1956, and that was the British farthing coin. So this is Queen Elizabeth II on the front of this coin, the Mary Gillick first portrait of her when she was 29 years old. We tip it over and we see this funny little bird on the back. I think it's a wren, W-R-E-N. 1956 at the top, farthing at the bottom. We see the engraver's initials right here. This coin, there were 960 of these to a British pound. It was worth half of a half penny or a quarter penny. And in 1956, they made the last of these. So this coin isn't too valuable, but it's kind of cool. And if you can get it in this condition, it's a little bit more valuable. And I also want to say that they made the Franklin halves in 1956. This is a 57 version, again with Franklin on the front, Liberty Bell on the back, and the eagle. And on the Franklin halves, instead of at the bottom, like the quarter, the mint mark would be on the top up there. And so these Franklin halves are worth, $8 to $10 minimum. It's because of their 90% silver value. All right, so that's all we have for the 1956 U.S. quarters, the Denver Mint and the Philadelphia Mint. Look for these out there. If you can find one that's in incredibly good shape, sometimes you find them already graded if you can get an MS-66 with a Type B reverse, that's where you have the spacing again between the E and the S instead of the touching E and the S, you could be talking thousands of dollars.